Um, Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Oludamilola Adegoke, and I would like to welcome you into the new year 2020 on our program, Nigerian Affairs. Today, I'm going to be discussing various issues surrounding the raging, let me use the word concept, that is going on around in Nigeria now at the moment in the political space of the country, and that is Amotekun. It's a Yoruba word coined by uh, governors of southwestern region Nigeria for a kind of concept that one could categorize as community policing. And it's a kind of response also to the various security challenges going on, particularly in that part of the country. And it's a reaction to what most of the people, most of the general public perceive as a kind of lackluster attitude of the federal government to the security of lives and property in that particular region of the country. And I'm going to be discussing so many concepts, and I would want you to accept this as not only a personal opinion, but something that I've reflected upon. And I believe a lot of people share my own point of view, but also there are other people who would have a very diverse opinion from myself. And we welcome divergent opinions and views, and you can put in your opinion through the comments below. I'm going to start by first providing a little bit of background to this particular issue, because many people who are not really familiar with the political space of Nigeria may not necessarily understand why something as that is as innocuous or that sounds as innocuous as community policing could generate the kind of problem that we are witnessing all around the political space on social media and various platforms in the country. Nigeria is of course, it's a federal republic for now, but prior to the advent of military rule in Nigeria, the before I mean towards the tail end of expiration of colonial rule in Nigeria in the 50s and before the 1960 independence, Nigeria was operating a parliamentary system with each region having a kind of semi or some form of autonomy to direct their own regional affairs. The Islam, the northern region, we had the western region, the eastern region back then, and then but at the end, so many problems arose during that time, and a lot of people have attributed some of these particular problems to the regional arrangement of the country. But shortly after the first coup, when the counter coup also, and the solidification of a kind of unitary system of government by those who actually carried out the coup, the military, the northern part of the country, the northern region, seem to have enjoyed a sort of political dominance over the rest of the country for the 35 years or thereabout of military rule in the country. They've controlled the country in that way, and the unitary system seems to favor an arrangement where all powers are centered around a particular let me use the word hegemon now, political hegemon. In this case, it's the federal government of Nigeria. And during the military era, it used to be whether Supreme Military Council or whoever is fortunate enough to head the military councils, the various military councils in the country. Because of this, so many power that should devolve toward, along the federal units were concentrated around particular people at the center. This, of course, led to a serious problem because, according to them, the arrangement was to prevent what happened in 1966, where people had to, and then the Biafran Civil War, where people had to go along ethnic lines, the dominant ethnic groups in this ethnic groups in this region called for a kind of secession, especially in eastern region Nigeria. They wanted to prevent that because that is the usual excuse given for the unification of the country. And quite ironically, those who actually formulated this unitary system were people from eastern Nigeria. But by the time power, let me say, got to the hands of military leaders from the northern part of the country, they saw a very useful means for that, because it plays and it still it does anyway, it plays a very significant let me say it plays significantly to their own advantage, because now they got to uh, share the revenue of the country the way they would like, and then some have argued that it's in a way favored their own arrangement, because through the various means of federal character, all other excuses, all other political excuses or political balances used to justify why they had to allow a kind of unbalanced structure within the country. So, and all this led to various issues, even down to resource control, where we still do anyway, have a situation where the most productive part of the country get fewer resource allocation than the northern part of the country. I mean, the extreme north of the country with little or absolutely nothing that particular part of the country is generating or contributing to the national pulse. So the whole aspect of federal allocation and allocation of resource allocation led to various issues. Most of the political problems we faced in Nigeria, they've been around resource control, around this issue of political balancing, around this issue of the structural imbalance or structural injustice of the country. Now down now down to the main issue of the day, which is the Amotekun, which is a very serious security issue that is going on in the country. Now, with all powers concentrated around the center, there is now a situation where the center is so bogged down and is so like so many center. I mean, the federal government, the central government of the country has so many things on its plate, down to security and even road constructions, things that could devolve down to the state and local government. All these things are being handled by the federal government, and then that really leave a lot of vacuum, a lot of problems. It has created a lot of problem, because Nigeria is a population of about 200 million people. It will be absolutely impossible for the federal government to police the entire country without releasing some level of power to the other federating units in the country. And much as the northern dominated political system of Nigeria, they've really given a lot of excuses around this, but at specific points in the political history of the country, whenever it is convenient for this political structure, this political elite to do so, they definitely find a way around the issue and then try to do something that will favor them. Like, for instance, the issue of the Sharia situation in Nigeria. Before independence, the northern part of the country, the Islam and there's a Sharia system of jurisprudence dominated that particular part, their own political structure and part of their culture in a way, because they've practiced Islam for hundreds of years before the advent of British colonial rule in Nigeria. And they found a way around it, but when Nigeria became a kind of federating a kind of republic where we had to bring all the federated units together, most of these things were revised in a way, but there were little allowances for application of Sharia law for some issues that were not really or that let me use the word. I don't want to use the word important, but permit me to use that for the sake of this discussion. But they demanded full implementation of the Sharia, which was something that was completely outrightly shocking to the rest of the country. That means they wanted a situation where they would have like a kind of laws, the full implementation of the Sharia law instead of the partial Sharia law that covers certain issues like marriages and whatever. They wanted Sharia law to be applied even to criminal issues in the country. A more vivid example that readily come to mind was the case of that particular woman who was arrested for adultery, and the Sharia law prescribed that the woman should be stoned to death. But for worldwide outcry against that particular judgment, the woman would have been stoned to death. and they adopted that particular law, and then they even created Sharia police or Isba police to police. And a very recent one was when the Isba police, Sharia police, arrested a police officer with some women in the privacy of their hotel room, saying that they contravened Islamic law. I mean, for doing that. Now they enjoyed so much power, but with killings going on in the country, and some of the killings attributed to herdsmen, Fulani herdsmen moving around, and in this particular century, where in this particular era, modern era, we had the situation where we still have a situation where some people believe that it is cultural to head cattle on major highways, and some of these herdsmen take their cattle into farms. A lot of people lost their investment, and then when they try to resist these killer herdsmen, they will kill them. So in some cases, there were cases where these herdsmen were arrested and taken to police station, and they will be freed, because all power, even the state governor, cannot really command any police officer to do anything without getting that instruction or clearance from the Inspector General of Police at the federal capital. So then they could, and meanwhile, by law or by convention, these governors are expected to be the chief security officer of their various states, but chief security officer without the police to enforce some of the security concerns, then it will be like they are just there for just there. So now, with that in mind, so with various calls asking for security, asking for more input from locals, because we've had a situation where a particular police officer that is not familiar with the environment is being posted there. Does not speak the language, does not understand the culture of the people, does not understand the map and topography of the area. Even the crime analysis of the place is not available to him. But because it's just there, then he will not be able to relate, and society, the public won't really trust him as much as somebody who grew up in that environment, who not necessarily somebody from the tribal or ethnic group of the environment, but of that particular society, but somebody who grew up, who has one way or the other been acculturated into, that particular space, would be able to manage such situations in a better way than those being imported from elsewhere. So the agitation now grew in the recent months, with more increase in killings, and a lot of allegations now. Allegations have been placed, still being placed on the president, because the president has shown a very biased approach towards addressing this issue, where he should speak against the issue of Fulani herdsmen killing, but he would be equivocating, or he would be quick to send condolences without necessarily even condemning the action of these Fulani herdsmen, just because they are from his ethnic group. Some have alleged that they are from his ethnic group, and that his allegiance is to these people rather than to the Nigerian nation. So with that in mind, people have to take one of the law of survival is for you to protect your own, to secure your own life first. So they have to devise another means to secure their lives and property, because the federal government could not be trusted to provide enough security for the people. So that gave birth to the issue of Amotekun. So various hunters associations, community associations, and ethnic groups came together in the southwest region with the governors of the region to meet. At some point, it was alleged that they even had meetings with state security officials to discuss and fashion out another alternative to, or a kind of complementary, not alternative now really, but a complementary mode of securing lives and property. And that was why that Amotekun came into being. But before the launch of the Amotekun, when it was even barely few days after the announcement of that initiative, some tribal group, that's a Métis group, and some other groups, elitist group in the north, came out to denounce and ask federal government to declare such move as illegal, without necessarily even asking for full details, or to even interrogate, or to even look deeper into the issue. According to them, that it would amount to a plan for secession of the West from the rest of the Federation. when it has been made clear by those who, like leaders of this initiative, that one, Amotekun will not bear arms. Amotekun, which is their own form of community policing, would not even, at some point, they will not even, they can't incarcerate people, but they can make arrests and hand over such the criminals to the police, and that they will not even bear arms, that they will work alongside police officers. But they refused. And to the surprise of most people in the country, instead of the government to take a more maybe critical look at the issue, or to even call for meeting, the Attorney General of the Federation, who is from that particular, that particular region of the country, that the northern region of the country, the same with Metiala and the Fulani herdsmen, came out to the position to declare Amotekun illegal. And that really, of course, led to a lot of uproar. People tell him that he lacks the power to make such pronouncement, because Nigeria is a federal republic, it's not a dictatorial government, and that you cannot be dancing to the tune of tribal your people from your tribe or from your ethnic group or from your political configurations, just because you believe that it's convenient or you have the power to do so. Though after much protests and with a lot of threats, in fact, they were even making threats that they won't allow anybody from the southwestern region to emerge as a president, as if the sole power to make someone a president is restricted only to those, limited to those political elites from the north. And this is understandable, because the way the society has been structured with their with people from northern region controlling the country for about 35 years. They even wrote the constitution of the country without necessarily consulting with the rest of the country. There was never a time the country sat down to meet together and decide that, okay, the 1995 constitution is what we want. They just decided on that. They draft out something and gave almost all the power to their own region in a way, carve out the country in a way that the political structure will always favor the decision of the north. And these people know this, and that is why they are saying that threatening people who would not go against, who would not support their own move, even if that thing is for the benefit or for the security of lives and property of those people in that region, it's of little or no concern to them, so long as they feel it will give the other region more power, a more solidarity move, then that becomes a kind of threat to them. So they have to shut that move down. So with various protests around the issue, they've had to meet with the Attorney General of the Federation and elements in the presidency to fashion out ways, and even the Vice President, to discuss on how to go about it. But as things stand, the argument is still on. But though the Attorney General has drawn a statement, and according to him, he said he was misquoted. Okay, having given this particular a little bit of background, I would like to consider some issues briefly. Anyway, surrounding this, is Amotekun a community policing? Is it needful? Then also to prescribe way forward out of this let me not use the word argument now. The commotion, out of the political commotion going on in the country. I will start by discussing the issue of Amotekun and then the concept of community policing. With a country of 200 million people and about more than 350 ethnic groups speaking different languages across the country, it will be absolutely impossible for one tribal-dominated security outfit that is hundreds of kilometers away from wherever the crimes are being committed to really police these, to do enough policing. So the idea of community policing would it's very, very important, it's needful, and it's necessary. In most countries of the world with large population, even populations that are a little bit, let's say, more than that of Nigeria, they have some form of community policing to augment the existing state police that they have. So in Nigeria, it's advisable, not only advisable, it is necessary for community policing to come to be and to be sustained. And that Amotekun as a project is something that is laudable and that should be appreciated by everyone, every peace-loving people, and those who actually love the existence of Nigeria as a country, because the the continuous breakdown of law that if not checked can lead to total chaos and collapse of the country. And if that should be the case, I don't think the country can survive another civil war at this point. So having said that, we need to also address, it will be important and objective, at least so, to address some of the concerns of those who have kicked against it. A lot of people have said, oh, it's going to lead to a kind of a state policing situation where governors would be oppressing their opponents, politicians will be, the dominating political party will use their own police to oppress those who are not from from that particular those who are from the opposing political parties. That is a very good observation, because power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I must say that it will not. That is not even enough excuse anyway to dismiss the idea of community policing, because it's like saying, okay, because there are car accidents every year on the road, then people should ban the use of cars. That would be as lame as that. It's not really functional. It's not really operational. So it's not really something that is visible. Let me say. But if another, what we'll talk about is to address some of the concerns, not necessarily throwing away the baby with the bathwater, because the idea of community policing is, that's what people, I've heard various arguments on social media, even on the traditional media, with people saying that, oh, it's going to lead to state police. So state police is not different, is completely different from community policing. State police is maybe, okay, we have Lagos State, we have Osun State having a kind of police that they will control, like the police command is under the governor of the state. But community policing is totally different. It's not under any political party. It belongs to the community, not even under the local government chairman. The community have a say in the recruitment, in who becomes, the constable or whoever is going to be recruited as an officer. So the police respond to the community. So it will be difficult for any political party, since all political parties belong to the community. It's because for one particular political party to control the police structure, because it's meant for more surveillance and some other little community work. If it has to do with serious enforcement or some serious enforcement, or let's say fighting of crime with arms, then you can call on the state police to come in, there to intervene. But this is about investigation, about those people who really know who are the criminal gangs, who can speak their language. They grew up with these people, they grew up in that environment, they hold allegiance there to the people there, so they feel that this particular place belongs to us, not somebody who is from outside who feels that I can commit any crime, collect bribe, do anything and run away to my place. Nobody will really know where I'm from. But this is people that live and grew up in that particular environment, so it will really enhance real police work there. So it's important that is put in proper perspective before people get that wrong. It is not state police. It's not a police to be controlled by a politician or by one governor or by the president. It's a police that is going to be responsible to the people, directly to the people. So, and having cleared that, whether it's needful, the second one is whether it's needful. Whether it's needful is not even debatable, because it is completely necessary. Because at this particular point in time, Nigeria cannot afford to go along the line of total chaos. We are still battling with the issue of Boko Haram, and then the issue of all this herdsmen kidnapping and what have you. We need people who can understand, because the issue of all these kidnappers and herdsmen, they move around the bushes and in the jungles, and then that's where they hide in. Police that is not from that place will not be able to track effectively, to be able to track those criminals if they are not familiar with the route in their own community. So, but hunters who grew up there, who have been hunting there for centuries, they already know the place, they know the trade, they know how to operate within the uncharted territory on that space. So that would it's really needful, and it's very, very important. The third one is on the issue of on the issue of my prescriptions or my suggestions as a way of way forward from some of the what we have read, where we are now. Going forward, I think the Nigerian government should change their attitude. The attitude of ethnic affiliation, or let me say bigotry. Whoever is in power will allow anybody that is from their religion to talk anyhow to others, to look down on others, or people from a particular ethnic group to hijack the presidency because one of their own is in power must be corrected. And I think at this point, former President Olusegun Obasanjo should be appreciated for one thing. When he was a president, the Oduduwa People's Congress, of whether justly or not, had a kind of serious fight with people from some ethnic groups, the outside ethnic groups, and even at some point the Ijaw ethnic group. Obasanjo had to clamp down heavily on Oduduwa People's Congress, the OPC, despite the fact that they are from the same ethnic group, thereby sending a message to them that don't think because I'm the president of Nigeria and I'm from your ethnic group, you can't do anything to other people. That really created a kind of confidence from people from the other ethnic groups to see that, okay, this president is not biased, he's for us all. But in the case of President Muhammadu Buhari, he has given almost all power to people from his ethnic group and people from his religion. We have a situation there was even a situation where the Muslim Association was issuing a statement saying that Amotekun is a Christian group. And then when they said they saw it on social media that people were being asked to go and bring birth certificate from churches. When we all know in Nigeria that it's only the National Population Commission that can issue birth certificates. People do naming ceremonies in their various houses, not in church. Not in most churches that I know of don't even do naming ceremony at home. I'm sorry, in churches, but at home. So why should people now turn that to, so when people ask for evidence, they said, okay, oh, we saw it from a WhatsApp group, we saw it from social media, without even waiting for any official source. They just automatically define it as just to sow discord among people from the southwest region, that the region that has been known for religious harmony, that has been known not to have gone to war on the basis of religion. They live together in harmony, but they've sown discord using people from within to sabotage that effort, to say, okay, we're not going to support it because it's a Christian agenda, because Christians want to use it for what? Christians want to use it to protect everybody. So I think at this point, yeah,